Hello everyone. Happy to see you here. Welcome to our staking panel. I'm gonna be a moderator today. I'm Nick from Cointelegraph, the biggest and the oldest media outlet. We got a beautiful speaker lineup, but before moving to our speaker lineup, the question is, guys, audience, please raise your hand if you stake. Raise your hand if you restake. And if you liquid stake. And if you do any other kind of staking, I don't know. Raise your hand if you ever launched a meme coin. Okay, good. Okay, we got the hand. Yeah. All right, cool. So, dear speakers, since we know that most of our audience is quite aware of what's staking, so we might skip the basic questions about staking, but please introduce yourselves and tell me how you contribute to staking field at all.
Cool. Well, hello everyone. I'm Marco, sales director at Kiln. Kiln is the biggest enterprise-grade staking company on Ethereum. We run about 5% of the network of Ethereum. Been at Kiln for the last 2 years. Before then, I used to be one of the main people at Chainlabo, which is another crypto analysis company. And yeah, been in the space for the last 7 years. And the contribution to the space is that we run validators, not only on Ethereum. We have many different, I would say, blockchains that we support. But as I said before, our main support is on Ethereum. And after that, I guess it goes with the market cap, so it's Solana. I guess for the sake of I would say the discussion today, we're gonna talk about Ethereum, maybe also Solana, I don't know. I think mainly Ethereum, staking.
We can, of course, if you wish.
Cool.
Hi all, ciao, I'm Davide. I'm from Chainlabo, Lugano-based company in Switzerland. We offer solo staking to our clients. We try to engineerize the home staking, so we are quite a purist of Ethereum staking. And what about what we offer to the world of staking is to try to increase the decentralization through single validators.
Nice. I'm Thibault. Actually, I'm a DGen, but I put a suit because I'm representing Sygnum Bank, so that I sound credible. Also, I went to a wedding, so I just bought a new suit, so I thought I can reuse it. But at Sygnum, basically what we do is we're a pure crypto native bank, right? So you can put your asset with us, Bitcoin, ETH, L1s. And my job at Sygnum is I'm in charge of blockchain, meaning every time you will press a button on our UI, or if you're another bank or an institution, you use an API, something needs to move on chain. Basically, my team, we are doing that. But also, because we're a bank, you need to do a lot of stuff. Maybe we will talk about that later, what it means to stake as an institution, or to do blockchain stuff as an institution, yeah. So that's about me. Thanks.
You look too corporate, proof that you're a DGen.
I once lost $15,000 by unbundling wrongly, basically a recursive borrowing and lending that I did, where it was cheaper to borrow than to lend. And then when I was unwinding the position, the UI was a bit clumsy, and yeah, I basically removed the collateral a bit too aggressively, and then I got liquidated. I don't know if that's DGen enough.
Yeah, it's pretty. Press F to pay respect, right? All right, cool. So the topic is really broad. So let's get to the roots. How did this concept of staking evolved at all?
Yeah, so maybe I can start here. I do a very brief history lesson. Give me some rope here, because I think it will be useful for the rest of the conversation.
That's why I asked, please.
Okay. So I think what a lot of people think about staking and blockchain, they think Bitcoin, they think Ethereum, but I'm always amazed that most people don't know actually it started in the 80s, right, with distributed systems. And basically the problem that people are trying to solve is you have a bunch of computer and you want them to agree on a state. And that's a really hard problem to solve. And now we think, oh, Bitcoin, Ethereum, we solved it now. No, no, no. They already solved it in the 80s, but they had some, in the 90s, right? But they had some very strong constraint. Mostly, it was not permissionless, so not everybody could join. You could only have nodes that you trusted and you knew. And it really didn't scale beyond maybe 10, 15, not even 100 validator, right? So this is where Bitcoin, I think, came, and Satoshi Nakamoto, obviously, with this huge innovation, where he said, well, we're not gonna just vote on this transaction. I'm gonna have you do some work. And if you basically try to propose a sneaky transaction, I'm not gonna give you any reward. So all this money you spend basically getting a slot will be wasted. And that's a really big deal because it allowed then anybody to just join the network. And that's like the big transition from the 80s and the 90s. But of course, proof of work is great at certain things. Like I think it's still the best way to distribute fairly token. It scales really well to a lot of validators, or miners rather. But it has also some issues we might think of. For example, basically you waste a lot of energy solving useless mathematical puzzles, like you factorize prime numbers. So unless we find a way to solve a real problem for humanity, I think, that's a bit of a branding image for proof of work. And basically Ethereum switched away from proof of work to proof of stake, which is something we did at the bank, which was quite a funny thing. That's a live heart surgery. They switched everything live from proof of work to proof of stake. And what proof of stake does, and I will briefly explain because I know most of you do, but in case you don't know, what basically proof of stake is doing is it's saying, well, you're gonna put some money at stake, right? And if you misbehave, I'm gonna take this money away from you. And it's relying on this consensus from the 80s mostly. So it doesn't scale well beyond maybe a few hundred validators. And so that brings us to the present era, and I will stop here, where basically some newer chains have trying a new approach where they will use different type of consensus. And the way you can ferret this out to know if it's really a consensus from the 80s or a modern one is, well, do you finalize super fast? And does it scale really well to thousands of validators? Then you know, okay, it's probably something different. And so that brings us to the new L1s. And also what Ethereum is trying to do is L2s, and that we will also discuss a bit later. And I think that brings us to the present era with all the topic we will discuss today. And I'm done with the big history lesson.
You just did a great moderation job. All right, cool. The new era. What can you tell us about the new era? I think that now restaking and liquid staking is like a new block. So, and I know that you guys do quite a bit of things in that niche. So if you could dive into this a little bit.
Yeah, like the idea of staking, of course, is like you lock your coins up and then you start getting some rewards when you secure the network. The main problem, not the main problem, but like one of the problems with Ethereum is in order to create a validator, you need 32 Ethereum. And then, of course, it's not something that everyone has because it's quite expensive. So, in order to kind of solve this problem, some sort of protocols have emerged back in the days, already like 3 years ago almost, that are essentially proposing liquid staking, which is very similar to staking. The main difference is that first you can stake less than 32 Ethereum. The second thing is that you're gonna get a liquid token as a receipt in order for having stake, for example, 2 through Ethereum. One of the major protocols on this is Lido. Then you have others like Rocket Pool. And then from this type of liquid staking, which was also solving another issue back in the days where tokens that were staked could not be unlocked. That's something that actually happened a year and a half ago. But like you had a period where for 2 years, if you were actually staking your Ethereum, you could not get out of your position. So liquid staking was actually solving that issue and was quite popular and still quite popular because Lido, for example, has almost 30, if not more, % of the network. But the way it works is that there are many other operators, including Kiln, in this protocol. And then the new era is that the restaking era. So from liquid staking, where you were actually getting a receipt for the Ethereum that you actually staked on Lido, for example, the new era is that EigenLayer arrived, trying to solve another issue. Not another issue, but like, I would say, trying to use the Ethereum network in another and new way. So if you think about all the validators that are in Ethereum right now, they're essentially securing only the Ethereum network. So the idea of restaking is that you use the security of the Ethereum network in order to secure new and protocols that do not have the capacity to have as many validators as Ethereum, but that could potentially leverage the security of the Ethereum network. And the way this is done is that, for example, on EigenLayer, you restake your Ethereum. So you stake with EigenLayer, you restake this Ethereum that is locked on EigenLayer in order to secure other type of protocols. For example, a very known one is EigenDA. So this is essentially trying to create a network where Ethereum is not only the layer one that is securing its own network, but is also helping other new projects scale up quicker by solving the normal issue of majority of the protocols of the network right now, which is, okay, I need to create a new network, I need validators, right? In this way, you essentially can go to market with a solution and use Ethereum in order to secure this network. So that's what EigenLayer is trying to do. Then we have other type of protocols like Symbiotic also joining this challenge. And so some sort of competition is coming on the restaking side as well. So it's quite a new topic. Not a lot of things have happened so far. And actually one last thing is that when you restake, of course, you get higher rewards from also staking this Ethereum, because not only you're securing Ethereum, but you're also trying to secure another network on top. So the idea is that if you get X amount of rewards from Ethereum by staking, if you restake, you will get higher rewards because you're also securing other network by taking higher risk. So that's the whole idea of restaking.
Solid. Thank you.
Yeah, I have only a consideration about restaking. The problem on my idea is that when you do staking, you interface yourself and your ETH with the blockchain of the Ethereum, or in some case with a third part. That could be Kiln, could be the bank, could be Lido. And this is the first level of risk you take. You take the first risk is the third part. In solo staking, you interface directly with the blockchain. In the liquid staking or in the staking in the bank, there is the third part. Then, if you do restaking, there is another level of risk that is EigenLayer, that is Symbiotics, Karak. So probably it's really that it's trying to decentralize also to a new level with the restaking, with AWS, with EigenLayer, but on the other hand is a third level of risk, a second and then a third level of risk.
Do you have something to add?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, but again, you know, it's EigenLayer will offer you more return. So, but I think it's important to give you this thing that you're getting more return in exchange for more risk. You don't get return for free. So what you should always be thinking of and thinking about in DeFi and blockchain in general is what risk am I being compensated for this return? And if it's a risk that it all goes to zero, you know, you can think of Terra Luna and stuff like that, then maybe it's not worth the risk. So I think this is where it's really tricky, right? Is it worth it? And the problem with EigenLayer is, I think, in a nutshell, it's not enshrined in the protocol, so it's just a smart contract on top of things. But so is liquid staking. So I think it's not a problem in and of itself. It's only a problem if you do it and you don't realize that you're taking more risk. But I think the solution it's trying to provide, which is it's really hard to spin. You have a cool new ID for an L1. You don't need maybe so much decentralization, but just getting your hands on maybe 10, 20, 50 billion of asset to stake. This is a really hard problem, and I think this is what they address. And as far as I'm concerned, it's okay. But I agree. You need to know it's a risk.
Yes, only one thing. With the gain layer, you know the risk, but about me, I don't know really what is the much rewards that I get. They told us you will get much rewards, but you won't know how much. No?
Yeah, for the moment, for the last 6 months, 12 months, the only thing that you got are points, Eigen points, which contribute to the airdrop of Eigen, of the Eigen token. Hopefully, we'll see. In the future, we will get higher rewards also from restaking. I think the main problem, as always, is if there's no fee collected at the protocol level, the fee is not distributed, right? So the reason Solana or Ethereum, they are able to provide you a reward is because in the end, you're securing a network and you're also getting fee from that, like you're paying some fees in order to secure the network, right? If I'm a user, I pay fee on Ethereum. The reality is, if on Eigen layer, all these protocols are also paying fees or people are paying fee on the protocol, if 16 billions or whatever that is already locked up into Eigen layer, how much rewards I need to get even just to get like 0.5% higher reward on my Ethereum, right? Like that's the main question right now. But that is a question that can be applied to, I'd say, Eigen layer symbiotic, but like any other solution right now that is trying to provide higher rewards, even for example, Bitcoin staking. It's the same type of idea. If you are not able to get as many fees as possible at protocol level and then redistribute those fees, the reward that the user is essentially getting from staking those tokens is not as high as they expect. Of course, on Eigen, a lot of people have done that because they were actually waiting for the airdrop. We'll see how profitable that will be as well. But yeah, for now, there are like a lot of questions that still need to be answered. And I think in the next 6 to 9 months, we're gonna get those answers because like you cannot go on for like years without really providing an additional yield. So I really think we're gonna see if people are gonna be happy by taking a higher risk for a reward that could be maybe very high or maybe not as high as they thought.
How many are you waiting for the Eigen airdrop? Okay, I see it. Okay. Not many of you, actually. I thought it's going to be more than that.
Yeah, as well. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe they're ashamed to say.
I really think if you're playing the airdrop game and you know your risk in the end, and so maybe you are rewarded, maybe you're not. You're gonna realize and see that only when the airdrop happens. I think from a long-term perspective, it's really interesting for people like Kiln, but like any other validator operator in the market to understand, okay, cool, long-term, if I take or if I allow my customer to have a higher risk by restaking on more protocols, are they really getting higher rewards or not? Because in the end, if you don't get higher rewards and if the risk-reward ratio is not high enough, no one is going to take the risk. So you can really see Eigen layer maybe being a most high project in the last 24 months to like maybe a once known project in the next 3 years. We don't know. So this is the main question for me that needs to be answered. And I think, as I said, in the next 9 months, we're going to have those answers.
Yeah, in Chainlabo, some our clients ask us if it could be a good idea to do direct staking with Eigen layer. And to answer this question, we tried. So we tried to put solo validators in Eigen layer with the restaking, and all works. We don't know. We had a lot of Eigen token, and then we're waiting for the drop. But on the other hand, it works. We don't have the rewards because the rewards stay on the Eigen layer till you withdraw your 32 Ether, and that's okay. On the other hand, we manage also the operator of Eigen layer in our data center in Switzerland, and it works, but it's still 6 months, 4 months, I don't remember, but we don't have still rewards from the works of the operator. So it's true, we have to wait, and we have to cross our finger and wait what it will happen.
All right, cool. I wanted to, so on this stage we have representatives of different companies, some of them focusing on enterprise-grade clients, some of them focusing on retail users. I want to start with the enterprise first, if you don't mind. So my question is, what are the unique and specific needs that enterprises have in terms of staking, and how do you cater your services to enterprises, basically?
Yeah, so first, they want an API, right? They want to connect to you through an API. But the thing is, our clients are mostly other banks or financial institution. So 80% of my work and my troubles and nightmares is actually not really related to the blockchain. That's kind of the nice part, right? It's, you need to replicate everything in a core banking system, right? Because for the bank, for me, it's really sad, right? It's super frustrating, right? You tell them, look, you can just check on chain, and like, I don't care, show me in the core banking system, right? So you have to, every single thing you're gonna move on chain from a wallet to another, you get rewards, you deposit in a smart contract, this needs to be reflected. So you have a lot of work around also compliance, gathering this data, sharing it. And I mean, you're a bank, right? So the reason also you do all this stuff is because as banks, first they can pool assets from many clients, and then they can also offer a product that non-banks can't. They can do Lombard lending, right? So there is a reason they do that, and I think the reason why they come to us is because we are very close to solo staking. So what we do is actually, in the case of Ethereum, let's say every client gets their own validators, and every client are segregated on chain. So if you stake with us, if you're B2B, B2C, it doesn't matter, I will spin up. You have your new wallet, which we share custody together with the client. This wallet will deposit and create the validators, and the withdrawal credentials are linked to this guy. So it's completely segregated on the balance sheet, on the blockchain, and on the core banking system. So even if the company goes down, Sygnum, you will be fine in the case of a bankruptcy. You will not get that from, let's say, a smaller company that's not a bank. So I think that's why they will come. It's this sort of boring banking stuff you have to worry about, and then only at the end you move stuff on chain. So you have basically to plug the blockchain into your whole traditional banking system, I think, and then you need to offer that to the client as an API. So maybe the last thing is, a lot of our clients, they want notification, so they want a webhook, and we tell them, hey, staking has started, it's done, you got rewards, stuff has moved between wallets. You can ping me, I can tell you where your wallets, where your rewards going. So it's a lot of deep infrastructure stuff that you need to provide to other banks and other financial institutions. And it's really fun how to see that they get it now. So, we were thinking about how the institutions are coming. I mean, now we have 15 banks that work with us. So I know like the institutions are there, right? It's funds, it's banks. And it's also the regulator, the FINMA and the tax authorities, they know this stuff very well. In fact, we had a lot of discussion with the...
FINMA knows things very well.
Yeah.
Not all the regulators.
Maybe I will conclude with this, right? So the VAT of Switzerland came up with a very smart, basically, challenge to us. And we were like, oh, fuck, when they want to know, they can get to know this technology, right? So basically, they were saying, okay, look, the consensus reward on Ethereum, they're freshly minted. There is a fairly distributed set of validators, so fine, okay, we're not going to tax that. But everything that's tips and MEV, it's basically people sending money to each other, so you're providing a service, so on that we want to charge VAT. So they were able to understand the split between consensus and execution rewards, and I was like, holy shit, and the problem is it's a really good argument, right? It's very hard to, so I mean, then it's, So then you have also a lot of stuff that you need to offer as a bank to other bank is how are you going to deal with stuff like that, right? How are you going to reflect that and provide this information to them? I stop it here.
Yeah, for us, it's quite different because like Sygnum, of course, is a crypto bank. They custody funds. For us, we are a non-custodial provider. So what we do is we actually integrate our validators with third-party banks or custodians or exchanges that then leverage our validator to offer services to their customer. So for example, some of our customers like in Europe, like Bitpanda, Bitvavo, or Crypto.com in the world, like Binance US, they're actually leveraging our validators to stake the asset on behalf of their customers, right? So for us, the main topics when we talk to our customers are security. So they need to know all the infrastructure, how we manage that, and how we make sure that, of course, at no point in time we actually have access to the client's funds. And then in terms of security, everything that comes with SOC 2, Type 2, whatever, like security certificate in order to provide that we are actually doing everything possible in order to make sure no hacks, nothing happens. And then on the other side, we also work closely with wallets that are servicing a little bit more retail people. For example, Ledger or Coinbase Wallet are actually leveraging our solution in order to offer staking to their customers. And they have other type of problems because different from custodial services like the exchanges, the problem for a wallet is how do I make money by offering staking, right? So imagine I'm Ledger. I want to offer staking on Ethereum. There's no way on Ethereum to actually charge a fee on the validator. Like different from Solana or other DPoS network, there's no way for validator to charge a fee. So in order to charge a fee, we had to build a smart contract solution directly on chain that we're getting rewards and dispatching this stuff to the wallet and to the end user, which is quite similar to what Lido did with liquid staking, but without a liquid staking token on top of it. The main reason for it is if you then create a liquid staking token, nowadays you don't really know whether that is it's a security or not. We don't know whether at some point that will be considered security. So for our integrators, wallet partners, we decided to offer a solution that was actually pooling customers' funds. So not only 32 Ethereum, but like also less than 32 directly on chain by taking as well a fee on top of the rewards, which is essentially the only way to be profitable for us and also for the wallet to offer staking, which is not the same for a bank because they can charge the fee directly on their wallet because they're going to receive funds directly in a custodial way.
So yeah, maybe that's actually a very interesting and good point. So one question to you and just a general reflection. So in our case, we have exactly the same problem, right? Because the client has the segregated wallet, the rewards arrive on their wallet. I cannot touch these funds. I cannot even move something without the client to approve something on their phone, right? That's why I'm saying we're very close to solo staking. But the way we charge is we will charge you in fiat. I'll charge you a fee in dollar, but you get all of your rewards. But actually the point that you mentioned is a really interesting one for institution, because if you're gonna capture the reward and redistribute them, then what all the banks and all the financial institutions will have as a problem is, well, wait a second, then I'm not 100% all the time in control of the funds. And that's a really big problem. So for example, for the regulator, in our case, because we could demonstrate that the client is always in control of the funds, you could keep this asset off balance sheet. If you cannot show that, they're going to force you to put the asset on balance sheet, which would kill the business model instantly. So maybe my question to you is, do you offer a solution like that where maybe we as a bank, if we would use you, because for example, oh, it's nice, I can stake less than 32 ETH, very cool. Although I guess we can talk about the Pectra upgrade later, but is there a way for us then to still be kind of in control of the withdrawal key and? Well,
yeah. The end user address will always be the one in control of the funds that are gonna go back to the wallet. But in terms of pooling, of course, rewards will be pooled. So they will be first redirected to a smart contract, and then that's where the people will then claim rewards. Otherwise, we also offer another solution, which is for 32 Ethereum directly on chain with dispatching rewards, and the people will get the same type of rewards. The main difference here is that if you are an institution, you have segregated wallet, you know your customer, you can charge in fiat. If you are whatever ledger, you don't know who's actually using the wallet. So you cannot send them an invoice in fiat saying you have to pay, right? Because like I'm an unknown customer and I need to stake my funds from a cold storage wallet. So I need a smart contract solution in order to do that. And I need to get back my rewards without really getting an email, or I have to do KYC because, of course, that's kind of against the ethos of cold storage itself. But that's, as I said, for wallets. For institutions, we have a smart contract solution for 32 Ethereum directly on chain with dispatchable rewards, where you still have access to your funds all the time. And that's like, there's no multi-sig, it's actually frozen. So there's no way for us to have those funds, access to those funds, and the asset will always go back to the customer wallet.
So you said the withdrawal key, the withdrawal address, we don't use the key anymore, I guess, but you set it to the where the funds came from. So there is no way. So basically you could, I guess, freeze a bit the fund, or do you offer voluntary exit messages that we can fetch in advance?
What do you mean by freeze the funds? We cannot freeze the fund because we don't
well,
have
I cannot
access to the
I
funds.
cannot unstake if I don't have like the, because you put them in the validator presumably. So how would I have to ask you to unstake, right?
That's still the case because the EIP from Ethereum that hasn't happened yet. At some point, the withdrawal, the rewards will be done directly from the withdrawal address. So once that happens, everything will be fine.
Okay, we'll talk it off the stage then.
Yeah. One thing on. Do you hear me? Yeah. Our clients are not institutional, are consumers, and they ask us. They ask us two things: no smart contract. We don't want your smart contract, and I want to take the key of the validator on my own, on my end. This is the real difference, I think. So for us, what you understand in these 2 years of Chainlabo is that customers want to be guided through the whole process of staking. So they want to go to the launchpad, they want to do everything on their own. And then what they don't want to know is about the technical way of do the validators. But this is the real difference. So in the bank you have solo staking, of course, but the key of the validators is on your hand, I think not in the end of your consumer, your clients.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter in our case because what we do is first we want the key is with the node operator. So Kiln could be one, right? Because they're gonna do a better job than us. It's a 24/7, right? You need to be up on Sundays. You need to be, if you miss three epochs in a row, you have a problem. You need to not get slashed. So we're not gonna be better than guys like Kiln, right? But what I want is to fetch the voluntary exit message, because at this point I don't care, right? I can, unless you get slashed, in which case anyway the funds are gonna be exited to your withdrawal address. I'm fine. So I think it's a spectrum, right, between people who want to really operate their own node and then they're gonna go to a solution like us. And if you go to a bank, it's anyway, well, I don't want to deal with custody, I don't want to deal with that. However, what I want to be still assured is I'm in control of the funds. And if I press the API, or if I call the API, or I press a button in the UI, I want you to guarantee me that my funds is coming back. And this is basically the equilibrium we have found, right? Because also the problem with sharing the keys, and it's not in your case, but I guess, yeah, exactly, it's slashing, right? Because if you have now replicate of the key, and one of your validator thinks your duplicate validator is offline, and then you double sign, it's a slashable offense, which is usually not too bad if you're doing it alone and it's not a massive outage, but for sure you're gonna bleed 1 ETH plus some attestation rewards. So you lose a year worth of rewards at least, right? So, and be stuck for a while.
Cool. We're almost out of time. The question is, my last question to you, and then we'll move to questions from the audience. How do you see the future of staking? Any new emerging trends that you think will pop up, or any new trends that you can see now?
Quickly. For my point of view, staking is the same since 2020. And it's good, it works. I hope that 32 Ethereum could be 10 Ethereum to do validators, 5 Ethereum to do validators, 2 Ethereum to do validators. So you can run your own validators, not on a difficult way, on a smart phone or something like that.
Yeah, not quite sure that's gonna actually. Yeah, it's going the other way. So like minimum of 32, and then you can actually create validators that are like bigger. So with what is happening next year, instead of having like validators that are at 32 Ethereum, you will be able to, if you're a big institution or like a customer with a lot of Ethereum, instead of having like 10 Ethereum validators of 32 Ethereum, you will have one validator that consolidate all those different Ethereum in one validator that needs to be managed, right? So this is also the reason that we think at some point Ethereum might be performing better, because there's going to be like less validator doing a lot of attestations. So potentially you will see as well a better performing network. A lot of questions are even there needs to be answered. But coming back to the future of staking, I think on Ethereum, as we said before, restaking is going to be most probably the future if they solve the fact that there's going to be like higher risk and higher rewards out of that. And then outside of Ethereum, from what I heard so far, and I think is going to be one of the biggest topics in the next 12 months, it's Bitcoin staking. So people that want to have yield out of Bitcoin in a kind of native way. So we have other protocols like Babylon that are trying to solve this thing. Is it the same as Ethereum? No, because Bitcoin is a proof of work network. So they're trying to implement stuff in order to provide yield natively into Bitcoin. We're going to see if that succeeds, but I would say that is the other second biggest innovation that's going to come in the staking world. And to be honest, everyone is waiting for it. Institutional waiting for a way to make money on Bitcoin passively with a yield. We'll see if we're going to ever be there. But that's, to me, is going to be the biggest one.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's where all the money is. So, of course, it's very attractive. Again, I think you go back to the same problem that, well, if your underlying chain that you're securing through Bitcoin is doing nothing except, you know, getting points or some airdrop speculation, well, it's going nowhere. But if you actually secure a useful chain that's doing actual work, then it can be very nice. And, of course, there is so much money on Bitcoin that it will draw off everything else. I think I would add another one. A last category, it's really, basically you have two ways of doing modern L1s, right? So you have the monolithic approach, like let's say ETH, less monolithic with the L2s, or Solana, where you want to scale an L1 really well. And then you have like more the people who are trying to do a association of chains, right? Polkadot, near resharding to some extent, Avalanche and Polygon. What they're trying to do is spin your own blockchain, and then you distribute the set of validator, and you can basically secure. Basically, it's what EigenLayer is doing, but you enshrine it at the protocol level, which is much better because then you don't really have the smart contract risk, right? So I think this will be also probably a very big trend, because you're not gonna. I mean, I come from Bitcoin and ETH, and I saw the maximalism. And the problem I see with maximalism is you don't have the same need for the chain. If you're gonna do a small chain doing gaming, or you do something about real estate, you don't have the same need and security guarantee. Maybe for your real estate, it's fine if you finalize in an hour, but you want to secure your 100 million transaction. You know, there you need to have a very solid set of validators in a very decentralized way. But if you do maybe high-frequency trading, credit cards, or gaming, or music, where the single transaction has not much value, but you need it to finalize fast, then you need other security guarantees. So that's where I'm almost convinced we will have. And maybe I will give you a hack, right? Because everybody brings in this industry data availability, ZK, rollups, like all this fancy word. But the dirty secret is it's just all chain and bridges. Like, if you think it like that, you will get a lot about this industry. So I think if you have like this aggregation of chains and they will share the staking together, it will be also quite interesting. But we go back to the same thing that we said at the beginning. If you don't have a real activity that's generating real worth, it's only speculation and it will crash and burn sooner or later. So that's why also you need to look for actual use case.
Cool, thank you so much. Do we have any questions from the audience to our precious speakers? All right, we're gonna go. How do we pass the mic? Spider-Man, Superman.
Yes, just one question about Eigenlayer. We are all thinking about Eigenlayer as a way to leverage our gains by restaking and so. But I think that it brings new possibilities like cross-chain restaking and the security as a service that really boost and quicken innovation. So I think it's something we will need in the future, and unless you know other solutions to these needs.
No, I agree with you. I think we need it. I think the only main thing with Eigenlayer is that there's always that smart contract risk that is going to be there all the time. So if anything happens, we'll see. But I agree with you to quicken innovation. That's one of the ways. So, and actually going back to what Thibault just said before, most probably if done already at a native level, we might actually quicken things even like we could make things even faster, right? Because the problem of Eigenlayer is that everything needs to go into one smart contract and then restaked. While with the approach you said before, actually there's no need of smart contract. But that's not how Ethereum works, and that's where the money is, and that's where developers are. So I think there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, I mean, the Lindy effect is very strong, right? You have all this money, all these people building and all. I mean, also just look at us like as a bank, right? I see all this cool stuff happening in all this other chain, and of course we want to try it, but we don't have unlimited developer, unlimited resource, and then let's say somebody comes up with a new cool, they use a new language, they do some fancy stuff. How am I going to get, I need to recruit one guy, we need to learn, we need to also take the risk to invest this money in this thing, and then what if it doesn't work? So this is where you see the very strong pull of Ethereum, right? But I think it's true that you have to think of basically Eigenlayer, they're just patching a problem that shouldn't be there because Ethereum is the way it is today. And it's true that also another thing that I find interesting with these other chain that are trying this approach where you have this bunch of chains that work together is you don't have this interoperability issue, right? Also that the speaker before Polygon was explaining, this is a huge fucking problem because also let's just forget that you cannot maybe easily interoperate. How am I going to explain to a client, yeah, because you come from me, you have a lot of ETH, and now I'm going to basically bridge your money away and put it in this other side chain because it's cheaper, faster for me or whatever. Like this is a hard conversation to have, not even speaking technically, right? So I think this is also a key problem that we will need to solve as an industry is how do we avoid fragmenting the liquidity and how do we avoid having assets in all these little, again, chain and bridges that they cannot speak to each other. Because if we don't fix this problem, I mean, it's never going to go anywhere, right? So I think this is like the big problem to solve for the industry going forward.
Cool. All right, let's wrap this up. Last question. Describe the future of staking in one word. I know it's not. Chicken, right?
The future of staking, only staking.
Decentralized. That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, yes, of course, decentralized.
But with the preface that nobody gives a shit about decentralization, which is really the problem we have, right?
Which is one of the reasons Solana is so famous right now.
Yeah,
It's really time about decentralization. It's hard to say, but that's how it is. And maybe there are people saying, do we really need decentralization in something that is not Bitcoin? We'll see. But going back to the future in one word, I would say in my idea is institutions. I think at some point we're going to have so many institutions doing staking, not about like crypto institutions, like real institutions. And that is going to be a new way of actually having the hegemony on money, which could be Ethereum.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We'll wrap this up. Yeah, thank you.